so shines, I'm scared.
Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. It's Shawntas here today, and today I wanted to do a video on the top 5 books that changed my entire life. These books are very important to me because they hold each book holds a special place in some type of area or where I was when I picked up the book. So I wanted to share this with you guys just to kind of give you guys information on what I'm reading, and also so that you guys can maybe go pick up the books that I recommend. So this first book is by Doreen Virtue. And Doreen Virtue is a author of mostly spirituality books. Well, pretty much all her books are geared towards spirituality. And I picked up this book very like out of the norm because I wasn't even into her at first. I didn't know anything about her. So this book definitely is the one that chose me. So it's called The 10 Messages Your Angels Want You to Know. And this book pretty much goes into depth about what the angels want us to know. So it goes into details about how the angels want us to kind of like look at life like from a different perspective than what we currently look at life like. So this book was definitely life-changing. I remember when I found this book, I was at the bookstore, and I remember being there randomly. I only went there because I was supposed to be going out with like some friends, and it started to rain. So I decided not to go out. Like, okay, I'm just gonna go to the bookstore. And I went to the bookstore, and I didn't even know what I was actually looking for, but I knew that I was into crystals. So I went to try to find more books about crystals, and I ended up running into all of these books about angels and just a bunch of different books that help you with self-development. And I ended up picking up so many books, and this was one of the first ones that I read. And I just remember after reading the book, I felt so motivated to look at life in a different lens and just to look at things very differently. When I first found this book, I was at a place to where I literally thought that I was on my own. I didn't have much help. I mean, I knew that God was there, but I just didn't have much of a mindset like, oh, I can do this because I have this. I have like God's help, so I know I can do it. I didn't have that type of mindset. So this book, I feel, found me. That's why I said it found me, because at that time I was kind of like searching for how to develop myself and how to just know more so that I can live more abundantly. And one of the messages from this book that stuck with me was 2 + 2 does not equal 3. And that's a message about looking at life through a love perspective lens rather than a fear-based, limited, lacking perspective, which is what we kind of fall into, not on purpose, but we just kind of fall into that lens of how we're looking at life, some of us at some point in our life. So in that chapter, it kind of goes into depth about how the angels kind of want us to just look at life through more of a loving perspective. They just want us to create more from a love perspective rather than fear-based, because you can't really truly create anything from fear-based, and it's very time sensitive as far as keeping it in your life. It's in and out. It's just not something that you can truly create from. So that's the one thing that they want us to pay attention to when we're looking at life, and also when we're praying to God. Just pray from a perspective of pure intentions, and so that your blessings can come to you very easily, and that your prayers can be answered with ease. So this next book is called Abundance Now, and it's by the author Lisa Nichols. Now Lisa Nichols is a motivational speaker who I ran into currently in this life space that I'm in, and I remember seeing her video and hearing everything that I already knew, but hearing it from her just made it 10 times more powerful. I don't have this book with me because I did get it from the library, so I'll just put it right here, but it was one of my favorite books when it came to just knowing that you can receive abundance, and you can receive abundance now if you just look at things differently and you just, you know, guide yourself by using a positive mindset, abundance can come to you now. And that's what she kind of goes over in the book. She goes on to mention how you should be writing out things and being clear on what you want so that that can be provided to you. So I really like this book, and I like Lisa Nichols as a whole. Like, that was one of the times where I was just feeling like, okay, like I know that I can achieve abundance, I know that I can get to where I want to be, but at the same time it's just coming so slow and blah blah blah. Like, that's how I was thinking. And then as soon as I listened to her motivational speaking and then I went to go get her book, it started to kind of like shift a little bit for me. And I was like, okay, the reason why I feel like I'm not successful now is because I'm looking at it in such a shadow like way, such a dark way of, oh, I'm not here, so I can't say I'm successful. Meanwhile, there's so many people tell me like, oh my God, like you completed this, this, and this, like you are doing amazing. Or meanwhile, I have all these things that are happening in my life that are clearly leading me more and more to the success that I want, but I'm just kind of like pushing those out of the way, like, yeah, okay, whatever, I'm not here, so therefore. And she just kind of changed the perspective of just, you know, developing your mindset to realize that abundance can be with you in the moment. And she goes into depth about vivid stories and how it's important to tell your stories to people in a vivid way so that they're able to relive that moment with you. So I really like Lisa Nichols. I kind of just matched her Abundance Now book and also her speaking, her motivation speaking together. So some of that was from her, one of her speeches that I've seen. But either way, Lisa Nichols is a good person to lean towards if you're wanting to know more about just living more abundantly. So this next book is called The Power of Now. And we were just talking about how Lisa Nichols always talks about how you should live more abundantly and you should do it now. Well, this talks about how you should always be present now. So it's not about what happened yesterday or what happened in the future. It's all about what's happening now. So a lot of times people will start to go back into past and they live in the past and they're like, oh my gosh, like this happened. Well, in this book, it teaches you why that's just like the worst way that you could possibly live, because when you're living in the past, you're holding on to a lot of stuff, you're getting held back. And then when you're always constantly in the future, you can't pay attention to what's happening now. So that goes back to when I said that I was always looking at, you know, I had to have this in order to have success. Well, that was me not being present in the now. So then I was like very, very easily skipping over a lot of my accomplishments. So this book basically talks about how to do life on a more present perspective. And it's a very dense book. It's a very complex book. I have went back to this book 2 to 3. I went back to this book a lot of times, and only to realize that I had to understand it on a different perspective. Like, it's a book that you will continue to go, all of these books that I'm gonna mention, except for one, you will continue to go back to it and only get more information as you go. So these are pretty dense books that will help you throughout your life, and you could keep them for a while. They're not books that you will outgrow or anything like that. You literally, I've never met anybody who's read this book who has been able to get it right then and there. It's a guide to spiritual enlightenment, so that means that it's a guide to developing yourself. So even when you do develop yourself, you're gonna have to go back and read this book to understand it, and you're probably gonna have a different perspective, which is what happened to me. So this is one of the first spiritual books that I received and or that I purchased, and I've read it. I read it in 2017, and then I went back to it in the beginning of 2018, and I've understood a lot more. And now I'm probably going to be reading I'm in the middle of the book, so I'm probably going to start from the middle of the book where I left off. This author's name is very hard to pronounce, so I'll just put it on the screen. So this next book is kind of cliche. It's kind of like, okay, but it's called The Curly Girl Handbook, and this pretty much changed my life because at a point in time, I knew nothing about my hair. I didn't know what to do to it, and when I first went natural, I found naturallycurly.com, and there was so much information on there, and I ended up deciding that I was gonna grab the book, and this is by the author Maureen Massey. I hope I'm saying it right. And she's the creator of like Diva Curl, so her and naturallycurly.com. So she goes into depth in this book about how to treat your curls and how to cut your curls and different type of ways to deal with your curls to where they're not dry and stuff like that. And this changed the game for me as far as natural hair when I first went natural, because I didn't really know what to do, and it was just really convenient to have this book here to where I could just pick it up and go to one of the pages and be more informed about the topic. Now, I did not read this entire book, because once I got to a certain point in this book, it was kind of easy to understand. I actually picked this book up when I was transitioning, so I remember feeling like I would never get the type of curls that were in these pictures, and now I'm here. So that's also very amazing to have that like wake up moment of feeling like you're not going to be somewhere and now you're like over and beyond. Like, I could probably write my own curly girl book now. So this last book is called Angels 101, and as you guys can see, I'm very into angels. So this book I love. Oh my god, I love this book. This is like my favorite book on the list. This is by the author Doreen Bircher, and I love this book. It's called Angels 101. It's an introduction to connecting and working with angels and also healing with angels. So this book was really a game changer for me because it told all about the archangels, and if you're into that type of thing, it told about like the guardian angels and how it's very important to know about the angels and how they can help you and stuff like that. So if you're into angels, I highly recommend this book, because it is a book to where it's so clear and precise. Like, these colored pictures are in it. It's so clear and precise that you don't even have to really understand. You can just go to this handbook and it's going to help you on any level. So if you're not that connected, if you're sort of connected, any level, you're going to be able to comprehend this book. So she did a really good job of just making sure that it was a really nice, precise, to the point book, to where it was just easy to read. The print in the book is large, so it's not intimidating at all. It just tells you straight to the point what angels are here to do and why God has sent them. So I highly recommend this book. It's my favorite. I always like recommend this book. Okay guys, those were the 5 books that I would recommend. I hope that this video was helpful to you and that you guys like this type of content, because I will be posting more of this type of content on my channel, as far as just more broader than hair. So let me know by thumbs up in this video if you like this content, and I will see you guys in my next one. Don't forget to subscribe to my channel, and yeah, I'll see you guys later.